listening to ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv, live from ASOTU CON 2023.
Hey, welcome to this episode of ASOTU CON Sessions for Effectv. I'm here with Anthony Barone. He's the
You got it. Development manager.
I wrote dev manager. I was like, strategic development manager at AutomotiveMastermind. Thanks so much for joining me here on the sessions.
Great to meet you, man.
Hey, so just before we hit record, this is where I want to start.
Yep.
Before we hit record, you said there's a difference between demand versus traffic, and I want to dig in
Right.
because I think, a lot of the narrative in the industry right now, there's strikes, there's supply chain issues still happening, maybe some impending implications of more supply chain issues. What's used cars going to do? What are new cars? There's so many things happening. And you say something to this bearded, bald dude that there's a difference between demand and traffic. Talk to me about that. How can we take that narrative that there's a difference and map it to hopefully a positive spin on, hey, there's opportunity in this industry? What's your take?
I mean, the closest tie to the difference between demand, traffic, is probably a little bit of a buzzword.
Sure.
But pent-up demand, right?
Buzzword in automotive? How dare you?
Right? Pent-up demand. So
Right.
I think we've been hearing that for a very long time. My take would be that we haven't accessed the potential of that pent-up demand, especially as market conditions the perception of those conditions get worse from the customer perspective. Customers saying high payment, high interest rate. They're not seeing more reasons to come into the market. They're seeing less reasons.
Right.
So for the dealership, it's really about how do we tell a story to a customer or engage with a customer in a fashion that gets them to see that it potentially is the right time to get out of the car they're having. At the end of the day, there's things that never change about the car business. Prices are not going down, I don't think, anytime soon. Right. And you're driving a depreciating asset, right?
Sure.
And so, yes, interest rates high, payments are high. These are the things, but it doesn't really pencil for you to continue driving the car.
What's interesting, though, to your point, I think, okay, yes, facts. You're laying out the facts. Interest rates are up, supply's down, da-ba-da-ba-da.
Yep.
See the Italian in me coming out. I'm going, ba-ba-da-ba-da. I'm become a trumpet.
Just a couple of guys.
A couple of dudes.
Hashing it out.
However, now let's introduce some more facts.
Yeah.
Take a vehicle away from a family and watch them get their kids to soccer practice.
Right.
We tend to.
Go in tandem bicycle.
Tandem bike, sidecar. I don't know, an e-bike. Can you imagine throwing Gatorades on the back of an e-bike and traveling 25 miles to the game?
Fun for the whole family.
Yeah. So point being, though, and I'd love your take on this.
Yeah.
Now you introduce the utility, the freedom that a vehicle brings.
Yep.
Why aren't we leaning more into that side of the equation?
Yeah. The feeling you get when you buy a new car, right?
The feeling, right.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that really just goes back to, I think that's where dealerships, it's a new world.
Right.
Right? What they need to think about is, how do I get the customer to feel that way, right? And so what we heard a lot today from some of the keynote speakers, panel discussions, whatever, is thinking about the customer experience. Manufacturers are focused on this more than ever, especially in some brands more than others. How do you give that customer that good experience, that feeling that they're taking care of their family? They're not buying a car, they're making a good decision for the family, right?
Yeah.
And that they're giving themselves, like you said, the freedom to do the things that they want to do, right? That's what they get from that vehicle.
The other paradigm shift, too, is, oh, wait, you mean to tell me that you're in a situation to even consider buying another vehicle? Hey, this is good news.
Yep.
We need to be leaning in my estimation anyways, we need to be leaning into the good news.
Yeah.
Okay, like interest rate, I don't know. I don't know how old you are. I learned never to ask people's age, but I know my parents, the baby boomers, were like, interest rates were 28.5%. Like, this is just a fact of life.
Of course. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How long do you think we're going to be in this period of supply chain, and how long are we going to have to try and mitigate and find alternate opportunities?
Well, I think one of the most powerful elixirs in sales, and at the end of the day, we're in sales, right?
He used the word elixir. Keep going. I got to write that down.
Is that limited time offer, right? Limited time offer combined with you can only get it at one place, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so that message that I think we can be changing the narrative with is, hey, all-time high wholesale vehicle value.
Right.
All-time high pricing, right? Everything. It's going the other direction.
All-time high, the feeling you get when you smell new car smell.
Right? The value of that car is as high as it's going to be. It was higher. You already missed out, which is the third piece of that elixir, right? You don't want to lose any more equity, right, than you have right now. And you're right. There are people in unbelievable situations right now that have a real reason to do something right now and not wait another second to do it.
Talk to me a little bit more about this, because I know Automotive Mastermind has all sorts of data available. Like the scope of data that you can observe is mind-boggling. I think. Dare I say, you might be the Neil deGrasse Tyson of automotive data.
Me personally.
Yes. You even have that timbre in your voice.
Exactly. Yeah.
But talk to me, what are you looking at specifically that's led you to this demand versus traffic thesis?
Yeah. So I think when you don't see traffic, you may assume that there's not demand, right? A lot of dealerships pulling back on advertising, saying, I don't have a story to tell this customer, right? Because the story's bad.
Right.
And so my thesis is like, no, there is demand there. We just need to create the traffic, right? We need to generate an engagement, a story, something that brings that customer who's afraid, who's unsure, into the market.
Yeah. What have you, across your client partner base, what are you seeing that maybe is a common thread of what's working well right now?
Yeah. I think some of the stuff I've already heard today is consolidating efforts and thinking more about what activations you're looking for. So one of the biggest pushes in this field right now is the CDP, that unified database, right, of customers.
Yeah.
And so that puts the dealership in the driver's seat, right? If you know who your customer is, now you have all options in the world to say, how do I want to activate that person?
Right.
Do I want them in my service drive? Do I want them in my sales funnel right now? What is the highest impact to my business, right? We heard a lot of the people from dealerships so far today talking about, my needs, right? I need my vendors to understand what my needs are. And that all boils down to they're also the best person to understand what the need of the customer is.
I think
and
this
their
is
customer.
Yeah, and this is what's intriguing to me about, dare I call it, the era of CDPs. I know that now that's kind of becoming a little bit of a buzz, but in the sense of we're all talking about it, we're hyper aware of it. What I love about it is it's causing or encouraging us to think or reintroduce marketing fundamentals like market segmentation.
Yep.
You make me, as you're speaking, you're making me think of, now I have greater clarity into who has actually shown express interest in a make, model, vehicle type. Now I have a greater understanding of what phase of the funnel they're actually sitting in. Just because they submitted a lead doesn't actually mean
You should come work at Mastermind.
Well,
you're doing a good job.
I know how to push record, but because I was on a call with one of our client partners who said, "Yeah, I'm really interested in how the market is segmenting," and I went, like, you said market segmentation?
Yeah.
I almost fainted.
Yeah.
But I love it because it's making us hyper aware that just because they submitted a lead, it's like going to an ice cream shop where the only flavor is pralines and cream. Guess which one they're going to pick? Pralines and cream. Does that necessarily mean that's the one they wanted coming in? Yeah. Oh, nay. Right? So that's what you're making me think of. I want to turn this back over to you briefly. I've enjoyed this, and this should be a part of a longer conversation. How can those listening or watching get in touch with you, learn more about Mastermind, and get deeper into the Neil deGrasse Tyson of
our
automotive?
Website is a wealth of information, automotivemastermind.com. We have testimonial videos on there. There's a tremendous amount of content. We have some short videos just talking about some of the stuff we've already talked about, activating, what are the audiences, how do we activate certain segments, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're active on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I don't know if we have Instagram, Facebook. We have some presence there as well.
You've segmented the market.
But our team is in the field 24/7.
Yeah.
We work hand in hand with our dealer partners. Collaboration is such a big part of what we do.
Yep.
We differ from many people in this space in that sense. So we have somebody, if you have a dealership, in any market in America, we have somebody that's living locally, has automotive experience, and can bring you
That's
through
great.
all the opportunities of Mastermind.
I'll speak from experience that I've been to your website and your blogs are awesome. They're very educational and very helpful. So I definitely encourage those listening and watching to get in touch with that. Other than that, man, Anthony Barone, Strategic Development Manager at Automotive Mastermind. Thanks so much for joining me on ASOTU Con Sessions.
Thanks, man.